come here, I'll sign it. And he signed it and he said, appoint the man, he can come tomorrow if he has to. So I said, wow. So when do I start? It was Thursday. And then he said, Monday. You start Monday. I said, I start Monday? And I was in another little town, and I had a farm, and there were cows. I was bankrupt, and who was going to take care of these stupid cows on the farm? And 10,000 problems to be solved in one weekend. Impossible. And I put the phone down, and I said to my wife, I've got a university job, only for a year probably, but it's okay. We've got something to go to. I start Monday, but who's going to take care of the rest? So we prayed, and we said, Lord, you have one solution. Surely you, knowing everything, must have the other solutions. And we had hardly finished when there was a knock on the door and a young couple arrived. And this young couple said that they were farmers in another country to the north of South Africa, and they were Seventh-day Adventists. And they had been working for another farmer, and he had told them if they are not prepared to work on the Sabbath, they must go, and he'd kicked them off the farm. So he had lost his job because he kept the Sabbath. And he said to me, I've got nowhere to live, I've got nowhere to stay. I said, would you like to live on this farm? And he said, sure. And I said, I can't pay you anything. He says, that's okay. You don't have to pay me anything. Can I live here? I said, sure, you can live here. And whatever you sell from the milk, you can keep that for yourself. And I thought I would pay the interest of all the loans that I have with my salary. And it was solved within 24 hours. There was a man on the farm who wanted to live there for nothing and take care of the farm and live off the proceeds. And I had a job at the university. And I went to this university and I started teaching. And for the first few weeks, of course, I had no salary, no money. Also, another miracle within that same period, I got a house in the middle of a month. And I didn't have to pay till the end of the month. My kids went to school and they got clothing, school clothes. They wear uniforms in my country. All the clothes, all the sizes, we'll put it on the bill at the end of the month. But I had not 1 cent to even buy a little bit of food to carry on. And then I got into the car, and I don't tell people that I'm in financial trouble. I got into the car and I was driving around, and we've been driving, the last bit of gas was just about going. And my daughter says, what's this here? And she picks up 150 rand. That then was the equivalent of about $150 in the back. She says, it's lying on the floor. And the next week there were another 150. I don't know how it got into the car, but it kept us going until my first salary check arrived. Now I can tell you, this is the real truth. There were times when we had very hard times, when we had virtually no money. All my money went into interest payments. And there were times when we really ran out and had no food whatsoever. And I remember one day sitting around a table with no food, praying to the Lord and thanking Him for what we were about to receive. And this is the truth. When there was a ring on the door and we went outside and there was no one, but there was a basket full of food on the floor. And this is a fact. I want to tell you something, that if you know the living God, your road might not be a rose garden. You might not have the best of everything you need, but your water and your bread will be sure, and He will take care of you. While I was at that university, I was only teaching for 3 months when riots broke out within the university. There was such chaos in my country. There were riots everywhere. The rector ordered postponement of the exams. And then it didn't fit the timetable. Somehow it didn't fit. And one day I had to write earlier. And all my exams were on that day. And this head of department called me in then, and I said to him, what must I do now? I've finished here. I've done everything that I must do. And for 6 weeks there's nothing going on, just riots on this campus. no exams. I've got no exams coming. What must I do? He says, go away. Go to the moon for all I care. And come back in 6 weeks. And in the meantime, somebody had arranged for me to go away for 6 weeks to the United States and to other places to look at all the petrified forests and things in the world. And I'd said to him, forget it. It's impossible. I've just started a job. I can't go and tell the man I want to go away for 6 weeks. And there were the 6 weeks. And I could go on the study tour. You saw many of the slides here. I could tell you one story after the other. I could keep you busy all night. I want to tell you that the Lord intervened with such power in our lives. And as we went through life again, back at the university, they started respecting me for the science that I was doing. And eventually I was given a permanent position. And eventually I started right at the bottom again. I was senior lecturer, here I was just a lecturer. And eventually I became a lecturer, and then a professor and head of department. In spite of what I believe, in spite of what I say. So if you think that God cannot take care of you, I want to tell you, He can do anything. I am in a secular university. I'm a professor and head of a zoology department in a secular university. I teach and preach creationism, which is impossible in terms of human imagination, and in spite of it, I have that position. Never be afraid to stand up for the Lord and for His truth. If you are genuine, God will take care of all your needs. I don't know whether it will be forever. Sooner or later, someone will close the tap. But it doesn't matter. The Lord will have something else. And He is offering the same to every single one of you. Take a step for what is right. Do what is right. And the Lord will fulfill every one of His promises. Thank you.